Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kuiper, Neil Payne, Adam Muncie, Wes Crouch, and Darren Stevens as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime!
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Front Corner to Corner podcast. Special guest edition tonight.
I was going to say, and do not adjust your TV screens. We are live, and we're live in studio with Coach Robbie Graham, head coach of the girls basketball team in Clark County. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
He did bring with him junior coach, Mark Collier, unfortunately. Coach, junior coach, welcome.
We're not clap.
Not for you. You got to clap last time you were here.
He is an alternate on the show.
He is an alternate.
I mean, Wes isn't here.
It specifically says friend of the show.
That's true. Wes isn't here tonight, so obviously he's here because every time Wes doesn't come, he's here.
Right. Wes
doesn't like him. He thinks that it's me that doesn't like him, but it's actually Wes that doesn't like him.
It is.
Either way, friend
It does say friend
of the show.
My fingers hurt when I typed that out this afternoon, but I did it anyways because I knew you'd see it.
So, Coach, obviously basketball season is over. You had a great season, top 5 all year, I think. Let's recap the season. Talk a little bit about the way the season ended, all things like that. So we'll just jump in wherever you would like to start.
Well, we had a good start to the season. Obviously we rode off some good wins. Started playing very well in the kind of middle of January. When our Sierra Byers, our best player, Division I prospect, top 30 in the country, went down. So we kind of had to pull ourselves together, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, so to speak. But we gave ourselves one day of tears, one day of crying, and after that, it's over.
Right.
Nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. There's still games to be played. The season's got to go on. So we just kind of picked ourselves up, and then we kind of had to retool some things and change some things up a little bit. But the girls, really resilient group of girls, played really hard. We strung off some wins and got some confidence playing without her. Obviously, we missed her all season. And then going to postseason play, we were playing pretty good. And, we got to get the rep. We tackled the monster first round.
Terrible draw.
Yeah, tough. It is what it is.
Right.
It's been that way for decades, and it's not going to change. And, it is, tough to play them right off the bat, especially without Sierra. But they're a heck of a team, well coached, have a top 5 player in the country in Z. And, we knew it was going to be a tough battle, and we played well in the first quarter, came out second quarter, couldn't score, didn't put the ball in the basket, and you had a scoreless quarter. You just can't go scoreless against a team like that. And then we're kind of playing catch up back, from that point on, and, got within a couple buckets, and then, missed a couple easy shots, and then kind of go on a run and kind of finished up. But, we're obviously not satisfied with the way it ended because, you want to win your last game. But we were happy with the way the girls competed and played hard all year for sure.
Well, you talked about the injury and having to change your game plan. I was super impressed by you played seemed to be a faster pace once when you had to change everything around. And you talk about that game in the state tournament. I know it's a blind draw, but that's one of those you look. It's like, these are the top 2 teams all year. Oh, hey, we're going to blindly put that back in and blindly draw another one out. I mean, ultimately, you're going to have to play them at some point, right?
Yes.
Everybody thought that would be a Final Four or a championship matchup, though.
Right.
So, but you can only play the draw that you're dealt. And even with the scoreless quarter, did you all go in at the half up, right?
Yeah, we go up. Yes.
I mean,
we're up.
And there was a there at the end of the quarter, that you all had a chance maybe to go up almost 10. So to have as poor quarters you still had to feel pretty good going in at the half.
We did, going scoreless second quarter, but then still leading at halftime. Felt like we could make some adjustments, and we kind of stopped attacking the basket, kind of settled for a lot of jump shots. We wanted to keep the pressure on them. and keep attacking. We want to get on the free throw line more than we did. We didn't shoot enough free throws. So our aggressiveness was kind of timid. Not, I won't say timid. We just settled. We settled for jump shots. We were very aggressive shooting the ball. We just weren't attacking the rim like we wanted to.
Right. So, you graduate, you had one senior. So you were, so even though
Sierra be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was it was a tough pill to swallow whenever she goes down. I mean, obviously you mentioned earlier, she's a top 30 prospect in the nation. Not,
Right.
that's just not, that's in the entire
ESPN.
Right.
Right.
So, and they know a thing or two about sports,
Absolutely.
or they pretend to. But it gave a lot of your players an opportunity, maybe for the first time in a long time, to play without her or Bree. And a lot of them got confidence. They had to take different roles. They had to do different things. They were asked to do different things. So in kind of a crazy scenario, it may actually benefit you going into next season.
Yeah, it definitely could. Definitely can. The one thing we talked about, you're never going to replace a player like that. You're just not.
Yeah.
So, our thing was everybody's got to play a little harder, got to get a couple more rebounds. Everybody's got to play a little tougher defensively. Everybody's got to get another bucket or two. Just everybody's got a group effort, to try to cover up things. And the worst thing about, is Sierra's such a great kid. I mean, she's a very humble young lady. She works extremely hard. She's kind of a throwback player because she just loves basketball. I mean, she eats it, sleeps it, drinks it. And to see her go down and it's tough because she loves it so much,
Talk about your senior coach. I didn't mean to cut you off now, like I usually do.
No, you did.
But McKeely Tabor, that's your one senior that you don't bring back. Started some games for you, came off the bench for you. But tell what you're losing in a player like McKeely Tabor as a lone senior.
She played football up through middle school, 7th grade, I guess. So she's very tough, physical, tough player. Really understands the game, knows her role, knows her limits, works hard. Just numbers aren't there as far as impressive points or rebounds, whatever, but intangibles. I mean, we're going to miss intangibles with her because she's such a leader, vocal leader. And the one thing that we kind of hang our hat on as a program is, we want to leave everything better, when we leave than we found it. As far as the bus, we'll make sure it's clean. And she's one of the last ones off the bus to make sure we pick up every piece of paper. We're in a restaurant. She's making sure all the kids are throwing stuff away. She's there to thank the managers or the people that wait on us at the restaurants. We leave a locker room. She's the last one in the locker room to make sure everything's picked up, cleaned up.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that. And it's not something that we've had to address. We didn't have to tell her to do it. Just naturally does it. And she's a tremendous young lady. She's had an opportunity to play next level, but she wants to be a nurse and just going to be tough academically in the college level to be a nurse. And she'll eventually go from a nurse to, a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant. Very intelligent young lady. Definitely going to miss her. She's going to go to EKU and pursue a nursing career, and then she'll continue on from there. But we'll definitely miss her. We, as far as the the rest of the girls, and we bring back a lot. Like you said, some young girls got the chance to grow up, got thrown into the fire, so to speak, and we have several girls that are playing on different AU programs, and they're getting better and better. And we'll start. We get out of school on Friday, so we'll start.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We'll start some summer practices next week, and then we'll start our summer basketball. It's a little laid back in the summer. We just want to kind of let them play a little bit, and we don't necessarily run a lot of stuff, or we won't focus on our practice sessions. Just kind of get together and let's get better as a team, get better individually.
Laid back. When have you ever been laid back?
Practice sessions will be laid back. I didn't say I'd be laid back. Practice
He said summer ball is a little more laid back, is what he said.
Just by a little bit.
Look, Coach Graham comes out, Panama Jack. He just, he just takes it easy. It's vacation.
Yeah.
Next question.
So you talk about McKeely. Everybody knows Chestnut. Everybody knows Stamper. Who are some girls that you were maybe surprised by that stepped up in the absence of Sierra?
Well, we had Jalen Green really stepped up. She took more of a scoring role. Kanaya Jones was our big player. She was kind of undersized, but she would guard the other team's posts. And, the state tournament, we're playing Angelina Paleo, at 6'4". And
only went to Robert D. Campbell Junior High.
Yes. And then, Kanaya's, 5'10", 5'11", just giving everything she has. She's fighting like heck. But,
right.
That 5-6 inch difference is just there. But yeah, those two, and then the younger Chestnut that had some decent games,
Yep.
and she's looking forward to this year with her. She's had a really good off season, very hungry. We're in the locker room at Rupp, and after the loss, and obviously the whole team takes it hard, but then you're scanning the locker room, and she's taking it really hard, and she comes up to me afterwards. She basically apologizes, like, "Well, Coach, because I want to be out there next year. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to help us win this game next year." So as a coach, it's a good feeling, to get such a young player. But she's such a competitor. But our kids are there. I keep up with their AU games and talk to their AU coaches, and of course the parents will text me, kids will text me. And I don't never want to know how many points they score. I could care less about that. How many points did your man score this year? How many rebounds did you have? How many assists? How many times you take a charge? Those things. But we're really excited about next year. I mean, we really are. Kids are hungry. We lost in Rupp. They were ready to start lifting weights the next day.
Yep.
They were ready to hit. I was like, no, we're going to take some time away. Kind of regroup. But they've worked really hard in the weight room. We have a strength coach there at GRC, and coach does a great job. Get our kids strong and try to prevent injuries. And and one thing we try to play a physical game because and we work hard in the weight room so we can play that style.
I mean, that wanting to get started the next day, that's anger pain is what that is. Like that. Heck, can we play again?
Yes, absolutely.
What's your message on the bench? Tell them that.
So,
you're losing.
Yeah, we're down. Games inevitably we're not going to win. Then we, I just felt, something came over me. So I'm had all the girls on the bench, and I tell them, guys, I said, we're not going to win this game. I said, but I tell you what, we're coming back to Rupp next year. And I said, we're winning 4 games. And I said, and if you don't believe that or you don't feel that, then there's no need to come out for the team next year, because that's the goal. We've knocked on that door multiple times, and not to discredit anybody around the state of Kentucky, because it's tough. It takes a lot of luck to get there, but if that's your goal, it's got to be your goal. Pat Kelsey, I'm a big Louisville fan. Pat Kelsey, one of the quotes he had is, he tells his players,
he was a good hire.
If you're not gonna be here to win, don't put your shoes on.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the way we feel. If we're not going to go win it, try to win it, then why put your shoes on?
Right. And I mean, things can happen, but it looks like it's going to be the same 1-2 teams at the top of the rankings coming into next year as well. I mean, of course they lose the big girl in the middle, but they still have top 5 player in the country.
Absolutely.
So
she's got a lot of the big schools looking at her too. So
who's who of Division I women's basketball is off.
Yeah.
She'll have her choice of UConn, South Carolina, Kentucky, Louisville. Everybody's after her. So
yeah. Well, and speaking of Kentucky, they just it looks like they hit a home run with the Brooks hire, and I mean he's basically done what Mark Pope has done, filled the team up with some pretty good players, and you're probably going to see some of these girls that are at that level here in Kentucky now want to go play for Kentucky, and so that's promising on that part of it as well.
Absolutely. I don't know Coach Brooks personally, but I obviously watch a lot of women's college basketball, and he does a tremendous job. Kids seem to love playing for him. And one of his top assistants actually was assistant at Moorhead for a year or two. A good friend of ours, Troy Lee Thomas, who assistant coach at Ashland, knows her very well. So she was at Moorhead, I think, a couple seasons. So she's the associate head coach. So she has some familiarity with Kentucky. So, yeah. So I think he'll do a great job.
So, wait, Troy Lee Thomas too? Coach, you need to hang out with better people. I mean, you got junior coach over here, and now I hear about TLT.
Yep, there's 2 of my guys. They're 2 of my ride or dies.
Well, I understand. And Coach Collier has said multiple times, that is, Coach Robbie Graham is one guy I will forever be loyal to, because he took a chance on me when he didn't have to.
The feeling's definitely mutual.
And who hooked that meeting up? TLT.
He did.
So it's a full circle moment.
Full circle moment.
I got another question.
And I was going to say, we wouldn't have you here tonight if it wasn't for Coach Collier. He was the end and be able to get you here.
Well, and my favorite story that you told, I'm gonna tell you, was that when they got beat in the district, that you were the last person to come in the locker room,
right.
And I know from the standpoint that really meant a lot to Coach Collier. So I think that talks about the kind of character and the kind of guy that you are. Unfortunately, in the area that we're currently doing this interview in, I don't know that you're always looked at in that light. And getting to know you over the last couple of years, that is, and I'll tell anybody this, that is extremely unfair. But when you win, a lot of times, we gotta try to find reasons that's going on.
Well, and we have those conversations all the time that, I mean, we are in Montgomery County, right? I mean, West bleeds blue and red. I mean, but not cardinal red. But the conversation that we always have, and you have said this, and Adam has said this many, many times, if you win, people are going to want to come play for you, and that's the culture that you have put together in Clark County now, to where, I mean, recruiting is one of those things that's part of college or high school basketball now, but you don't even have to do that because girls want to come play for you, because they want to go to Rupp, they want to cut the nets down, and that's the culture that they've done.
I mean, facilities are none.
Right.
I mean, better than some small colleges. Will you speak on this? I think it's very important. How do you get your team equipped, ready to walk out there every single night? Like, just mentality, knowing, okay, this team, we're probably going to beat by 40, 50. You're not going to tell your team that. They're not going to mention it because you don't say that. But how does you keep that razor sharp focus night in, night out, knowing that we've got to still play for something bigger?
Well, to quote, I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, but to quote Coach Tomlin, the standard is the standard. I mean, we work hard 2 hours every day, 6 days a week. And sometimes the girls feel like our games are easier than our practice as far as how hard we go. Not to discredit any opponent, but just our effort and practice. And they know that the players before them and the players before them and the players before them, the expectation is set for our program. We lose to Paris for the first time. I think it was my 5th or 6th year, maybe 7th year I was coaching. And, all of our former players are blowing my phone up, and they're actually reaching out to the players on that team. It's like, we don't lose to Paris, and no disrespect to Paris because Coach Spinks is a good friend of mine, but that's the first time they lost, and our former players went nuts. Like what's going on here?
Right.
This don't happen.
Right.
So that's just how important it is for everybody to come through. And we talk about family. It's all about family. Once you're part of the GRC Hoops family, you're family for life. And going back to Coach Collier, we had played that night in the district, and I told my wife, and previously I said, after we get done, I said I'm gonna hit the road and go watch. I said I'll probably miss it quarter or so, but I'm gonna get there to support my guy. So our sheriff, his Sheriff Purdue, his daughter is a 7th grade. They were at the game. And I was like, hey, I may need you. I said, I'm probably gonna break the speed limit going down 64 to get to Bath County. He said, just be safe. If you need me, call me. You're good. So I get there and I miss a little bit of it. So I'm standing there in the corner, and his bench is there, and he kind of sees me. So he actually comes down and we embrace there. And so I go over there, and my sister's there. It's Fleming County played before, which my hometown, and so I go sit with my sister and some family there and watch the game. And so it was a good game.
Yep.
Really good game to watch. The atmosphere was outstanding. When you've been through some wars with somebody and you share like some personal stuff with somebody and family things, and we talk all the time, and it becomes, he's family. It's my brother, and you see the hurt, and the pain on his face, and you just feel for him because you've been there as a coach, and then. But all that coaching goes out of the way. Now you see your brother hurt. Right. So now it's like, I got to go be there for my brother.
Yep.
So you hear that, Dina Graham? Family. Lexus, family. What's up, Jordan? Nephew, got it.
So, but it was, a moment we shared. And, I know he appreciated me being there. And I didn't want to be anywhere else but there. And, his family had reached out to me after that, days after, and thanking me for being there. And I know he'd have shared it with them how important it was. But I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. That's where I needed to be. That's where God needed me to be. That's where Mark needed me to be. And that's where I wanted to be. So,
right. All right, guys. Well, before we talk more Clark County hoops, we're going to take a short commercial break. Special thanks to Brent Wehunt, Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, the sponsor of our Athlete of the Month program in Menifee County. Your show. You're listening to the From Corner to Corner podcast, brought to you by Tutu's Sweet Treats, where you can treat yourself to our divine lineup of desserts that will dance on your taste buds. Whether you fancy gooey chocolate brownies or our deliciously moist cakes, we've got a treat for every sweet tooth out there. Give yourself a sweet escape and take a bite of pure bliss. It's time to surrender to your cravings, grab a fork, and dig into our homemade goodies for a dose of sugary happiness.
All right, guys, we're back. So last night, Montgomery County introduced their new ladies basketball coach, and Jordan Perry. One of the things that we talked to him about was Caitlin Clark, right? Caitlin Clark has – Wes, is that you?
That's a Wes move.
Caitlin has transcended the game of women's basketball over the last couple of years here. And, you know, with the younger girls now that are going to be like seeing Caitlin, they're like, hey, I want to do that. That both you guys being ladies coaches, what's your all's thoughts on, you know, her impact to that? And then years, you know, within the next 5 years down the road, you're going to have girls coming through that are like, I was inspired to play by Caitlin Clark, you know. So, you know, what do you guys think about that?
You go ahead and answer, because this is about you and your career. I don't want to take your shine.
Yeah, she definitely has transcended women's basketball, and you know the audiences. You know, she sellouts. You know, not only at home, of course, but on the road. And you know, you say little girls, but also there's a lot of little boys that are wearing those number 22 Iowa jerseys. You know, across the country.
I got one.
Yeah. So, but she's such a competitor. I think she kind of gets a bad rap at times because she's so competitive.
Yeah.
Which I don't see a problem with. You know, talking a little bit of crap out there, and you know, she wants to win. You know, and she's successful as a player. Our team's successful, and you know, looking forward to seeing the WNBA and seeing how she plays. And you know, women's college basketball. You know, you're talking about the Final Four, and the viewers outnumber the men's this year. So I think it's you know, definitely going to open more doors, and more young girls will start playing and being more involved.
You got an eye roll from Lex Graham.
So
that's just his daughter, assistant coach at Bowling Green.
Yeah.
D1. Congrats to her. Whatever. She doesn't consider me family. She's basically jealous.
Oh yeah. Well, you got 3 eye roll emojis on that one.
Well, so I've actually had this conversation with one of your assistant coaches, Coach Novi Byers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this class, your Caitlin Clark, you know, and all the other young ladies that came with
Reese.
her. Yeah, Angel Reese and the big girl.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do for the WNBA what the 84 class did for the NBA. And if I'm Nike or Reebok or any of that, I hook my teeth in with Caitlin Clark, and if I'm the WNBA, I hitch my wagon to her, and let's ride.
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. I think the one of the impacts I hope to see, you know, with women's is the salary.
Yep.
I mean, you're looking at the men are signing for $3 million a year, and Caitlin's signing what, $300,000, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a $28 million deal off of her shoes, but
Right.
like that's her actual salary's chump change compared to what she can do in endorsements.
I mean, there's no reason why our players in the WNBA are having to go play in Russia and having to go play in China and make more money over there. Listen, we can and should pay them more than what they can get. It should be every player's goal internationally, like the NBA is, to come and play in the WNBA.
Yes,
Well, Diana Taurasi said Russia's her season. She used the WNBA to keep in shape.
Griner was the same way.
You know, they're making $1 million, you know, over there plus.
Yeah.
And then what? A few $100,000 is
Right.
tough. You know,
Seen on Twitter today, which I thought was a great statement. Said there was a mom said that had a son outside shooting basketball, step back 3, and instead of going Kirby, Kobe, Clark, you know, Caitlin Clark. I mean, the women's game is coming up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's awesome to see that.
It on Fox this year, they had more viewers than any men's game. So,
well, and so she made one comment about flying on commercial planes, and the next day the league puts them into charter flights.
Yes.
but I mean, even
One comment.
even prior to that, think about all the gaffes that have happened in the women's NCAA tournament.
Absolutely.
You know, the 3-point lines being different distances. You know,
Last year was the weight room thing, right?
Well, listen, weight room.
Yeah.
Loosely
termed,
right. So, you know, as a society, we should really be ashamed that we have essentially looked down upon a sport that there weren't. We just had the wrestling coach on from Rowan County, and they looked down upon Rowan County.
Never heard.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. So
Sit right there and cheer.
they had getting as much of that because they worked just as hard. And you talk about your practices, and I've heard about how hard your practices are. And and as a coach, that has to feel good for you that now their hard work is starting to pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things too, I get a kind of a bad rap about is, once some of those games were up, we have, some kids that don't play a lot get the game. And, there are times where I'll call timeout, but I don't care about the score. I care about our player not competing and doing what we do in practice every day.
Yeah.
So it's not about trying to show up the other team. It's about making sure our players understand it doesn't matter the time of the game. It doesn't matter the score of the game. You're on the floor wearing a GRC jersey. There's an expectation.
Right.
And you have to hold up the expectation because we coach everybody up. We're in practice session. We don't put 8 players on the sideline and watch 10 players practice. Everybody's involved in a practice session. All of our coaches are coaching all our kids up. So when it's game time and it's show time, it's money time, you get your opportunity. You got to compete and play hard. It's not out there for you just to be running around and, hey, mom, dad, granny, I got on the court. You're going to do your job because there is a standard to our program.
Right.
And speak on that just a little bit more, because a lot of your games do get lopsided. And like you said, you're not doing it to show anybody yet, but you're talking about the standard is a standard. It changes for no one. And you elevated GRC to the only standard left. The only goal left is it's a state championship. It's not, let's win the district. 11 in a row, 8 region titles, 2 Final Fours. I mean, that's great. Anybody else with that resume, but now there's one thing lingering. So if you don't hold your players to that standard in any game, no matter if you're up 50 or up by 2, just talk more about the importance of that. Because like I said, I think you do get a bad rap for that, and especially here. And it's not that you would show any young lady up. It's just that you're coaching your team.
Absolutely.
And there's value in every second of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, so go a little bit more depth in that, I guess is what I'm asking.
It's like the through the course of the game, the score, obviously, there are games where we're kind of getting lopsided. But like if we're playing 4 games, in a row in a 2-week span, and I set my players to only play a quarter, where's our game conditioning coming in? Our practice conditioning is there, but the game condition is different. I don't care what you say. So is it fair to my kids that practice 6 days a week, 2 hours a day, not to play some in the second half, to get game conditioning for what we have coming down the road? I mean, I would never show up a young lady or a program. I respect this game too much and love it too much. But then again, I've got to coach our team and I've got to coach our players. And like you said, if I take the game minutes away from them, are they going to stay hungry? Because they want to play.
Right.
It's all about practice to play is what we do. Practice to play.
Marion County, probably maybe the best girls team ever to come through here. He's been on the other side of that, but you didn't look at, was it Anthony Epps coaching them and say, man, why it's 38 to 1.
Trent Milby.
I'm sorry, Anthony.
He was an assistant.
Yeah.
39-1 at the end of the first quarter.
But you didn't probably go, man, that dude's that's crazy.
But I did say I would try to signal my wife, who was sitting in the stands by the fire alarm, to pull the fire alarm.
Now, where did you play them?
We were at the old GRC RDC.
Okay.
First game of the year. This young, well, not young, a little older, first year head coach. Oh, let's play the best right off the bat. Let's play the best. They were looking for a game. Let's bring them in. So we get out and we're literally don't get the ball past the free throw line on our end at all.
Michaela was a dog.
She was a dog. They had like 5 D1 players on there, a couple other kids that went to college to play. They were really, really, really good. It's 39-1 after the first quarter. I look over to my coaches and I was like, why did I switch to this crap instead of staying with the boys? We were pretty successful and doing well.
Yeah.
But it fueled my fire.
Yeah.
Because I said, this will never happen again.
Yeah.
This is the last time this is going to happen to this program with me in charge of it, being down 39-1 after the first quarter. But we were there.
Yeah.
We were there. And through our hard work and just, grinding away, we been on the other side of that a little bit.
Right.
Which is, it's a much better feeling to be on the other side.
Right.
Than those.
So, you played in Fleming, had a very successful high school career. You were fortunate enough to play a little collegiate ball. At what point did you realize, hey, I think I may want to coach? And then you mentioned being on the boys' side. How did that start for you?
So I went to Vandy out of high school. Coach Sam Newton recruited me and signed me. And my junior and senior year, I had a lot of leg pain both those years playing high school. I kind of Tylenol became my best friend. I take 2 Tylenol before the game, and take 2 Tylenol after the game because there's so much pain. Everybody kept saying shin splints. Well, I got to Vandy, and the practice sessions were more demanding, longer, tougher, and I just couldn't handle it. My legs just could not handle the pain. So our trainer said, he's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "My legs are killing me." So he came, he felt my legs, and they were just on fire. They were the infection in my legs. So I had a fever basically in my legs.
Yeah.
So shut me down, go to our orthopedic doctor. They do x-rays, MRI, and I had 5 stress fractures in my right shin. I had 4 stress fractures in my left shin. Ended up having to put a steel rod in my right shin. They took bone from my pelvic to replace the bad bone. I don't know, you guys probably Sam Bowie's injury when he went down. Yeah. So they basically said I could have walked out of the office that day or had practice the next day, and my shin would have just snapped just like his. Because I had about a quarter of an inch of good shin where it just had rotted away. Yeah. Just, you can see the x-ray just rotted away. So our surgeon actually assisted with Sam Bowie's surgery. Of course, that's been so many years ago, and technology's so different now. So Coach Fowler came, kind of took over. Just never got healthy. I wasn't one of his guys. They were going to take my scholarship away. My mom couldn't afford to send me to Vandy, so I ended up coming back home. So kind of, my mom got sick with cancer. I had a disabled brother. Kind of, God was pulling me back home. So I came back to Moorhead, and they wanted me to play there, but I never played anymore. Just did some pickup, that kind of thing. And so Coach Lake Kelly had gotten. That's wrong. Coach Mark Crane was the Fleming County varsity coach, and he was looking for a middle school guy. I had some good kids coming up, probably some of the better kids that had coming through there ever. So he wanted me to kind of coach the middle school, and really had no desire. But at first, and then he asked me, and I started doing my nephew and some cousins playing. So I coached middle school for 2 years. We were very successful because we had great players. And then Coach Kelly, Lake Kelly, got the head coaching job at Fleming County, and his house kind of butted up to the middle school, and there was a lane called Lover's Lane that kids would kind of hang out because it used to be the old high school, and his house was right there. And he would come in and unbeknownst to me, would watch practice while I was running practice. And he told his wife, he said, if I ever get the job again, he said, that young guy, he's going to be on staff. Of course, our families go way back. My grandmother was actually his nanny. Okay. So we were close. My mom was, worked for his mom. So close families, but, and I probably would have went to Austin Peay to play for him, but he told my mom, he's like, if he can go to Vandy, he got to go to Vandy. Yeah. So Coach Kelly recruited me really hard at Austin Peay. So Coach got the job, hired me as top assistant. I thought I knew some basketball. I had no clue. The man had forgotten more than I ever will know. Mentored me, taught me a lot about the game, how to run practice sessions, how to scout, how to watch film, just everything from A to Z. So I owe Coach a ton of gratitude. We got to be really close, and and then being his assistant, I got hungry. That kind of fueled my fire. Then he retires. The Fleming County job opens up. They went a different direction. So I was actually out of it for a couple of years. And then Coach Humphrey was the boys coach at Clark County. We were around in Moorhead State, watching the regionals, girls 16th region. My friend Troy Lee Thomas was playing against Russell, Merle Kidwell, who's passed away, God rest his soul. And Coach Humphrey, his friend, was Merle. So we're there watching. I'm sitting there talking to Kelly Wells, and Coach Humphrey comes up and says, I need to talk to you. I'd like for you to come work for me. So we got together, talked, and met a couple times. I met with Principal Superintendent Clark County, and they offered me a position. And so I was there with him for 7 years. We had great success. Never thought I'd ever leave to go be a girls coach, but Coach True left to go to Lexington Catholic. I had my daughter coming up to be a junior. Her and some of the players, some of the parents, hey, we'd love for you to coach. I was like, you sure? Like, yeah, absolutely. We want you. So I applied and interviewed and got the job. And so that's kind of my story for why I'm the GRC girls head basketball coach.
And how long have you been the girls coach?
Next year will be my 13th.
I was going to say 13. I couldn't remember if you just finished 13 or we're just going into 13.
Going to 13. So hopefully 13 is lucky for us.
Well, so, we've talked about your, the wins. We've talked about the district titles, the region titles, all the collegiate athletes. But how does Coach Graham define success? What can you look back? I mean, because wins are great, right? Hanging banners are great. Getting trophies are great. When you look back, when your coaching career's done, you hang the whistle up. How will you know that you've been successful?
I already know this answer. Go ahead.
So when you walk in our locker room, we have every player that's played for us that's went on to college, we have their picture up with the college uniform. So that's something I hang my hat on. Kids that want to play next level, we do our best to get them there. But with that being said, my phone, Christmas, I get text messages from my former players. Thanksgiving, birthday, happy birthday, coach. Graduation, college invitation. I've got a former player that's about to get married in October. So, those are the things, the family, the closeness, because I love them like they're mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I really do. And when I say that, I'm genuine when I say that, but I love those girls like they're my own, and we become family. So, that's what I hang my hat on. That's what my legacy will be is how much I care for my players, and how successful they are in life. Because I feel like we're building young women to be successful. We're tough on them. But we have a young lady that's an attorney, and, she was going through a tough stretch, in law school. And she calls me and says, Coach, she said, you helped me get through that by how much you pushed me when you were coaching me. I have a young lady that's going to be a doctor. She's going through medical school, and she says all the time, man, he's tough on us, but he loves us and helps us get through, and he's helping us grow and mature and all these things. So that's the wins are great, championships are great, but the relationship that you build with these players and coaches, that's what my legacy will be.
Yep.
I've got 2 assistants that have been with me from day one, Steve Anderson, William Brown. Coach Carter's with me for some years. I got Erica Jackson with me now, and just on and on and all the coaches that have been with me. Those are the things that I will, when I step away, hopefully, a long way away from now. When I step away, though, that's what I will remember. Not the bumpy bus rides, or, but just the relationships that you build, and especially with the players. I mean, it's we're really close, and we'll have a lot of our former players that come to games and support the current players, and so that's what I will hang my hat on.
Yeah. All right. Oh, hold on. I'm not going to let you finish this, okay? Yeah, I'm not going to let you cut me off this time. So we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. We'll come back, hear more from Coach Robbie Graham and junior coach Mark Collier. Special thanks to Kim Soft, our title sponsor of the From Corner to Corner Athlete of the Week in Montgomery County. KimSoft, eco-friendly industrial services, is your go-to squad for all things squeaky clean in the commercial and industrial world. Based in the heart of Mount Sterling, they are your friendly cleaning wizards, serving up sparkling magic in areas like Lexington, Louisville, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Huntington, and beyond. Let's turn that grime into shine.
What about 8 and then rolling?
Well, we're live now.
Laney, what are you listening to? Laney, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to Mount Sterling's #1 podcast that drops on Saturdays at 3 a.m. The From Corner to Corner podcast is recorded right here in the Community Trust Bank Studios, where we bring you Kim Sauce, Athlete of the Week, Juju Smittrick's Dog of the Week, and Brett Weehunt's Kentucky Farm Bureau, Menifee County's Athlete of the Month. The From Corner to Corner podcast is brought to you by CRC Roofing and Renovations, Jacobs Auto Body, and Kentucky Realty Group. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and any of your favorite podcast platforms. And always remember, stay safe, friends.
You play a lot of sub 500.
Well, I mean, truth does hurt sometimes, Coach. We'll get to that story in a minute.
Just throwing that out.
So, well, Coach, you talk about, talk about the kids and, getting them all to the next level. Yeah. What has been thus far has been your favorite moment being a high school girls basketball coach?
Gosh. Hard question.
Well, it is
tough.
but not really, because I won a regional title with my daughter. Obviously they're all special, but that one is just it's more special than because it's my daughter.
So was that year 2?
That was year 2.
So you go from getting beat 39-1 in the first quarter,
Yes.
year 1, to winning region year 2.
Yes, and there's a picture that someone took, and we're up, in the regional championship game, and I sub out for her, and she just runs and just jumps in my arms, and I'm not sure who captured it, but it's one of my favorite pictures. Also,
Who did you beat in the championship?
we beat Montgomery County in the championship. So, but that was that. Winning with her. I mean, it's hard to say anything else trumps that.
Right.
I mean, they're all special, but that one is extra special. So
I can see that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So you talked about during that Montgomery game or the Marion game that you signaled your wife.
yes.
And you try to get her to pull the fire alarm. And you said I really wasn't kidding on that. Like, pull the
No,
fire alarm. Let's
dead
get out of here.
serious.
Let's get the heck out.
Dead serious.
So, it's got to be tough being a coach's wife, especially a coach that, has been as successful as you've been and, taking the criticism at times that you've taken. So take a moment, Coach, to speak on your wife.
Well, she's the definitely a true coach's wife. I tell people a lot of times that I could switch places with her and sit in the stands, and she could get on the sideline and coach because she's been to so many games. And she's a very loyal fan. There's she doesn't like hearing criticism of her husband.
Yeah.
Especially when it's with opposing fans. I mean, she doesn't sit on her hands and be quiet. She'll definitely give it back.
You hear that, Wes?
But she's the rock, when she's allowed me to do this stuff for over, 30 years. We were this summer, I was upstairs and she was downstairs. I think she was yelling my name. I didn't hear her. So she called me on the phone and said, "Why are you calling me?" She's like, "I got a question." She said, "How long have we been doing this crap?" I said, "What are you talking about? Married?" She said, "No, I know how long we've been married." I said, "Basketball." I said, "I don't know." She said, "Well, calculate it, figure it up." So I sat down and figured it up. It's right around 30 years. And she's been with me, the whole time, side by side and through the ups and the downs, but she's, the shoulder I can cry on or the one that's there to greet me after a big win. And, so it's blessed to have her, to allow me to do this. And, and I said, "Honey, if you want me to step away, you just let me know and I'll step away." She said, "There's no way I will ever tell you to step away because you're not going to be mad at me for the rest of our lives." She said, "When you'll be ready."
You don't want that,
No,
right?
she said, "You'll know and you'll be ready and we'll ride off." So
That's kind of like what Miss Terry, isn't that Nick Saban's wife?
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
and it was basically Miss Terry told Coach Saban that it's time. Like
Yes.
it's time for us to
Absolutely.
leave.
Yeah.
So we're in a day and time where promoting your players is more important now than it's ever been. And of course, AAU, and you've spoke on that a little bit, does that to some extent. But from your standpoint, how much promotion do you do of your kids? How often are you fielding calls from college coaches? Obviously, I've never been a coach at that level before. So tell me what that looks like for you.
Well, when you have good players, you're going to have colleges reach out. And the thing about it is, we have, Division I players. We've had NAIA players, Division II, Division III players. But anytime a kid gets a chance to play next level, it doesn't matter at what level.
Right.
It's a chance to further your education, you get a chance to play the game you love. So we do work hard. I'm not afraid to call anybody. If I have a kid interested in a school, hey, I'll call them. And my thing is, it's all about kids, whether they're my kids or Coach Collier's kids or whoever. If I can help a kid, further their education and get a chance to play at next level, then I'll do that.
Yeah.
And we'll send film out. We'll call coaches. As I was driving up today, I get a call, from a school and, wants one of our players to call them, to reach out to them, because they can only start calling at a certain,
Right.
like your junior year, whatever it is. So they kind of reach out to me and, hey, have so-and-so call me at 3:00 on Thursday, whatever. So I was doing that on the way up here, but it's definitely fun, and it's a fun time to seeing your kids recruited. And it's good for the younger kids to see older kids recruited because now they're hungry. Like, hey, if she can do it, then I can do it. And we're having a big summer event this summer. It's the second year for the state of Kentucky. We hosted at GRC. It's NCAA live period. So last year we had over 55 teams. We had over 70 coaches come in at all levels. We had teams from Kentucky, obviously from Ohio, from Tennessee. This year I've had a couple schools from North Carolina reach out, West Virginia, Ohio again, Kentucky, obviously, and then Tennessee. So, we're looking forward to that. Again, this year it's June 13th through 15th. So, it's just it's all about helping your players and doing what you got to do. And we try to play in big events. And not that, we think we're better than anybody else. We get invited to some things because we have some good players and, we want to play the best competition we could possibly play in. And a lot of things we do is not for GRC, it's for our kids so they can be exposed as coaches are there. So we, last year I think we played about 3 or 4 teams that have won their state champion, and so just getting exposure. Like the team from Indiana lost 1 game all year. They were the 3A, I think, state champion in Indiana. And, the coach, they win a championship. Next day, the coach called me. She says, we only lost 1 game this year. I see your cuts. I know. So so it was to us. You know,
Yeah.
we play them in Northern Kentucky, Hoops for Harvest. So, you know, it's not about me. It's not about GRC. It's about our kids. So we want to put them in the best position to be successful. And, you know, we're going to always play a tough schedule. You know, I think it just makes you better. Matters in March. That's what we say. You know, it matters in March. You know, we basically play 30 games regular season, glorified practice sessions. You know, when district tournament starts, that's when basketball season begins.
Right. Well, so you just touched on something. You talked about the defending 3A state champion in Indiana. We don't have a class system in basketball here in the state of Kentucky. What are your thoughts on that? Do you wish we went to a class system, or do you like the way that we do it now?
You know, I'm a you know, little older traditionalist, and I mean, I guess I would adjust, but it's just something about Sweet 16 just special. I mean, you know, there's something about it, and I know a lot of people have their different opinions on it, but it's just different.
Well, I mean,
Watching the boys Sweet 16 with two county schools, Harlan County and Lyon County, two of the furthest points on this state, small schools playing in the championship game.
And which one of them took down Great Crossing in the Final Four?
It was
Lyon
it?
County.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm kind of like you. I really enjoy those David versus. I mean, because if Lyon and Great Crossing played 99 more times, Lyon County may not beat them, but that one time they did, and that's all it takes. You know, you talk about, you know, everything matters, because even though, you know, you talked about the Paris game, even though you were probably better than Paris, they still beat you.
Absolutely.
And you know, in the record book, it's still a loss.
That's right.
So you can't overlook anybody, and I'm sure that you do a really good job of preaching that to your kids. So 12 years of basketball, we know about, you know, opponents like Z, we know about opponents like Epps. Who are some of the toughest players that you've had to scout and plan for?
So we played against Cardozo.
Mm-hmm.
We played them in the event in Louisville. The Chattanooga Christian, I think is the name of the school. They were loaded. I mean, they had the young lady that went to UK. Her name is escaping. But they had 8 Division I players, like 8 high major Power 5 Division I players. And they were like, we played our tails off. We probably played as well as we could play. I think they beat us by like 13 or 15. And the coach comes over. She's like, "Coach, this is one of the toughest games we've had." I was like, "We just lost by 13 points, you know." And I'm mad we didn't win. I'm like, "What do you play?" So it happened. I've never seen this happen in a girls' game. The ball got wedged. So you normally got to go get the ball and you got to throw it up there. Well, Cardoso just goes up, boom, knocks it out. And we're just like,
all right, dude.
So our first 4 shots, I think she threw 2 of them in the stands. She kept 2 of them blocking them. 2 of them she knocked the other way, and they got layups. And you know, so we called timeout. I was like, guys, she's going to be 6'6" now. She's going to be 6'6" during the second quarter, third, and fourth quarter. She's not going to shrink.
Right.
So let's stop going there and trying to shoot over.
Yeah.
You know, we got to be, you know, let's draw her, and then we got to kick the, you know, we got a different strategy here. But those experiences, you just like, and our kids that played that game, they still talk about that. So those things that, you know, lifelong memories that you'll take forever.
Yeah.
So,
you know, have you been able to build your schedule for next year?
So we're about done. We're 28 game schedule. We've got 2 more to play with. Just kind of trying to figure out what we're going to do. So we are going to Phoenix before Christmas. Is Tournament of Champions. Got an invite out there. So pretty big tournament, Nike tournament. Yeah. So we're excited about that. During Martin Luther King weekend, we got an invite to go to Washington, D.C. They have a really big event there. There's a gentleman that runs tournaments all over the country, and he told me, it's like, this might be the toughest field ever. And so we'll play Montgomery actually on Thursday the 16th. We're going to hit. We'll fly out Friday morning. We'll play Saturday and Sunday as a non-play day. So it's Martin Luther King weekend. So we'll take a tour of museums, and you know, they bring the kids in, you know, all the teams into a big banquet hall and have a dinner and a guest speaker, and you know, take a tour, like, you know, some of the exhibits and the sites in Washington D.C. And then Monday morning we'll play and we'll fly back, you know, or drive back. I'm not sure what we're going to do. And then we're playing Hoops for Harvest again. It's a really nice event in Northern Kentucky we've gone through the last few years. It's really good. We're playing Sacred Heart at home. Actually, we're playing a boy-girl doubleheader. The boys are playing Great Crossing, and we're playing Sacred Heart. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday night, but Coach Cook and I have talked. We're really going to try to publicize that and build that thing up. We should have been a Friday, but I think I don't think it'll matter what night it is. So it's a Tuesday night, so we're really going to work hard to publicize
We may have
that.
to change our schedule that week and come.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you said you got 28 games. So What's the chances that Coach Robbie Graham loads up a bus, takes his GRC Lady Cards to Mark Collier Memorial Coliseum in Bath County
at 7:55 on, what are we, May 13th, May 14th? The invitation is there. Coach Robbie Graham, come to Bath County High School next year. Play me. You do not 30-piece us.
So this has been a discussion since he got the job. And he always says the contract's in the mail, okay?
His excuse is, well, I can't come to 16. Well, Coach, I'm going to throw some shade here. You didn't have to go. Hey, Bath is not as far as Ashland to get your tail kicked.
We did get our
You
tail.
can come on back. It's a shorter drive back home for you.
We actually did kick our tail. So the story I always get is the contract's in the mail. How many years you been at Bath?
Just finished my 6th.
I've never seen a contract, if that tells you anything.
Yeah.
That tell you.
You know why? Because you typically have a winning record, and he only schedules teams that are sub 500. So,
Sean, we were just getting back.
I couldn't help it. It was a softball there.
All right.
I mean, it was a
Right here.
softball.
We're live. Coach Robbie Graham, would you come to Bath County to play Mark Collier and his Fighting Lady Cats?
So this is what I told him. I say he has to pay our team to come,
Okay.
and his wife has to make one of her famous dirt cake
Dirt
desserts.
pudding, yeah, dirt cakes, something
Yes.
like that.
And his mom has to cook dinner for the team.
Yeah. Okay. That is fair.
Is that fair?
So I can do the dessert and Mary Alice can cook, but I'm not paying you to kick your tail. And see, you guys heard it. I'm Mark Collier calling you out. Come to Bath County, Coach.
Listen to this guy.
All you got to do is agree on the spot. We're live. I mean, live deal, Sean.
It
No,
gets
we're live.
pretty electric in there. I
Hey,
mean,
my guys, they'll do the live.
Oh, so
game.
now we're your guys.
Yeah.
When you walk, we weren't your guys.
Adam and West will do the game in there. It'll be live.
So he knows I've only got like 6 home games. That's why he's doing this, because he knows I need home games. So I've got to get a couple.
Have you heard anything but an excuse?
only 6?
Yeah, we don't have very many.
Because
Class-
why?
class-
You have to go on the road to win it. That's his philosophy.
Yeah.
But back here, have you heard a yes or no? It's always been, well, this,
Well, let me ask you
does
this.
does
Would
that.
you? Why don't you load up the bus? It's the same
There you
distance.
go.
And you go play.
And I told him we'd write him a check for him to come to our place.
Nah, I ain't know about no check.
Maybe we have to extend the olive branches, but maybe you need to come first, and then he can return.
If you come to GRC next year, we'll come to Bath the following year.
Oh, there it is.
It's
on the table.
right here.
I'll sign a contract right now.
I got spare.
Dustin
people
Howard's
working
probably
right
watching.
now.
Dustin Howard's probably watching.
Oh, Florida State.
He does. He's a Florida State guy.
But still, man, no. You come to me first.
Why?
Why do I got to come to Robbie? Oh, Mr. Golden State. Okay, man. You come to me, and then I'll come to you. Just home and home it.
He always says, when I beat your tail, I'm gonna smack you on the butt. I was walking out. Just don't get mad.
But anybody out there, that's my guy. But you heard him decline.
He didn't decline. He didn't decline.
He gave you a fair offer.
There was an alternative.
What's fair about that? I'm saving you trips from going to Ashland. Oh, I'm throwing shade.
He told you he'd do the home and home. He just wants to reverse it.
You come to Bath next year.
I'll tell you, we'll just flip it around. You come, GRC, we'll come to Bath.
I've never seen you backpedal and run.
I tell you
thing
what,
like you have.
I'll
been.
not only come to you, I'll come to you 2 years in a row.
Look at that. Whoa.
We gonna do it?
You come to our place, and I'll come to your place 2 years in a row.
I gotta come to you first. Yes.
And I'll come to you 2 years in a row.
Cause see, that's the
See,
thing.
look at
man.
Look at
now
he's backpedaling.
Farmer, look
Now
at
he's
his
backpedaling.
And you know my dad's probably listening. Like Mark Allen, you don't want that, dude.
He's telling you, just Mark, take it. Just, I mean, it's
No. I scheduled Henry Clay, who, Lexington School was like, and they weren't really that good that year. And my dad looked at my schedule and was like, "What did you do that for?" I was like, "Yeah, 20 points later, I understand that."
Roderick Moore says, take the deal, Mark.
He's going to Moorhead State, man. He's leaving us anyway as a trainer. My guy got the head trainer job for the girls team, the girls basketball team at Moorhead.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
But I just want you to know, all you Montgomery County fans, he will not play bass. I'm just telling you. Next question.
So, Coach, as we, you talked about your girls were ready to start as soon as the whistle blew. They're they're in Rupp and they were ready to get started for the next season. You gave them some time off. You talk about summer ball. What does off season look like for your girls?
So it's really lifting every day. Coach Tackett, our strength coach, really puts them through it, as far as that goes. And, last week we kind of started a couple days a week doing 2 weeks, fundamental work, just shooting, ball handling, passing, just the basic stuff, not hard, to go about an hour, 15 minutes. And then when school's out, we'll start having some practice sessions a little bit. We'll play the month of June up to the dead period. And then, a lot of them play AAU ball, so July for AAU ball. And then when school starts back, I'll give them about a week to get acclimated to classes. Then we'll start back our conditioning program. And then we'll go 2 or 3 days a week for a couple of weeks, and then increase that to 3 or 4 days a week, then increase that to 4 or 5. So then when we hit October 15th, we're going 5 days a week. And then about the 1st of November, we're going about 6 days a week.
I'm speaking of the summer thing there. I meant to follow up with a question a while ago when we went sideways in the scheduling thing there.
I was always sideways with me.
But on the 13th through the 15th, when you've got all these other teams coming in, you said 50-something teams. What does that look like for 3 days there? Is it a tournament type thing, or is it round robin?
We don't do a tournament. We do pool play.
Okay.
Because we want to try to pair teams with similar competition.
Yeah.
Because with bracket play, you can get into some lopsided scores. So we kind of look over, and there was one team last year we kind of screwed up on, a team from Ohio that no one knew about.
Yeah,
they won all their games about 30 or 40. Yeah. We just didn't know anything about them. But we sit down, we say, this pool. So we'll have 5 teams in the pool, and you're guaranteed 4 games, 2 each day. So we really try to make the games competitive as best we can.
So you're going from daylight to dark then with that many teams.
Yeah,
there,
well,
right?
we're using RDC facility, both of our gyms. We have College Park there. We have Baker. So we'll have 5 gyms available if need be.
Gotcha.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it 99 games in 3 days?
I think that's what it was.
99 games. I mean, that's
2 days.
2 days. I mean,
2 days.
Michigan,
Yeah.
Maryland. I mean, all your to Kentucky Christian. I mean, you had a wide range.
Right.
Great for all participants.
Right. I mean, like you had mentioned earlier, anytime a kid gets the opportunity to play at the next level, it doesn't matter if it's JUCO or it's D1. College ball is college ball.
Yes. My kid Lexus played at Campbell University, graduated from there, alumni. And, it wouldn't no different to my wife and I if she would have been at UConn for 4 years.
Right.
We traveled and we supported her, and my son's currently there. Shout out to him. He graduated from Campbell University a couple years ago. He'll start in the master's program in the fall, and he's going to be the GA to the AD. So I'm proud of him.
Nice.
So we're excited about that. And then, my baby girl's a freshman, so she's track. So she's got regional track coming up Tuesday. So I want to wish her all the best.
Absolutely.
Rooting for her to be successful there. And, life is good. God's truly blessed me in, many, many ways. And, I just can't thank him enough for all he's done in my life.
So, well, Coach, we're getting ready to touch on some national topics. First, I want to thank you for coming in. This huge interview for us. I think you look in this area, and there's not anyone better. Like you in this area, Robbie Graham is. You talk about your team being the standard. I think you're the standard, sir. So we appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
Well, thank you for the invite. I mean, I've really enjoyed this, and like I told you during the break, I hope I can come back.
It is an open invitation as long as you don't bring your junior coach.
I'll leave him at home. I'll tell Sarah to lock him in his room.
They told me it was an open invitation.
So, guys, we're gonna talk a few national topics. You get a little live view of our Saturday show, except I'll stay more on the rails because we're live and it's still kind of a coach's show, and I don't try to get off the rails too much. So NBA playoffs are going on. Have y'all been keeping up with those?
Absolutely, man.
I'm not an NBA guy, and the playoffs have me hooked.
Yes, really good games, real competitive games. I mean, just kind of edge of your seat, every series.
Anthony Edwards is becoming a superstar in front of us right now.
Agreed.
But you've got to stop the Jordan comparisons. He hasn't done anything yet. Not you, Bball, but just people. That's Jordan's son. No, man. It's the first series.
A couple years ago, it was Jimmy Butler. It was Jordan's son, and then they do the split face where they
Ant-Man's good, but don't put him in that.
He is kind of a throwback player, though. He talks the trash. He does the DX sign.
Yeah, he does.
He does talk the trash.
How do you get fined for that?
He owns up. Like the other night they lost, he goes, that loss was on me. Yeah. You don't hear players do that anymore. There's so many daggone players that are blaming the refs and stuff like that they sound like me. and it's like, it's refreshing. And he has the ability to flat out take over a game. The unfortunate part of it is I think the Nuggets have figured them out.
Yeah.
Because the last two
Nuggets
games
are
they've
good.
blown them out. You know, Jamal Murray and Jokic, that whole team is special.
Yes, definitely.
And I don't know that we're not going to see the Nuggets and the Celtics in the finals.
I think it'd be a good series, though, for
Yeah.
Nuggets back.
Well, and I mean, Jokic is the best unathletic looking dude I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, I agree.
It looks like he wouldn't even be good in a church league.
Right.
Prime example of why you don't need the NBA draft combine.
The underwear Olympics. That's all these draft combines are. They're the underwear Olympics.
Funniest thing that Neil's ever said, though, is that
Wow.
Jokic looks like he's playing in a pair of flip-flops.
It's just the way he runs.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
So do you agree that you think it's going to be Boston and
Yeah,
Denver?
I think Minnesota needed to win one at home.
Yeah.
But I think the sleeping giant is awake now. You know, sometimes you need a little motivation. I think Denver got it now. They lost those 2 games, and now I think they're ripping around, ready to go. So I think those are 2 best teams on paper.
And I don't think OKC or Dallas, either one, can beat them.
I don't think so.
And that Pacers Knicks series is old school.
Yes, it
There's they do not like each
That
other.
reeks of the late 1990s.
Yes.
It definitely does.
Well, whenever Josh Hart went up to Reggie, who was on color that game, and the New York fans were telling him hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Josh Hart went up and he was like, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but what they're telling you is. Reggie's like, no, I got it. I know what they're saying.
Absolutely.
But
But I think that series might be over, too, in Indiana's favor now because New York is just so hurt.
well, they don't. They're
And they're
just
not
got that.
deep.
They just had that one white guy in the middle. They've lost. You know, Randall was out for the series or for the playoffs started. They lost. They lost Robinson.
And their bench isn't deep, and Indianapolis is.
I mean, they got Josh Hart sometimes playing the 4.
Yes.
So it's a good run. They're a couple players away.
They are. I think Brunson's playing a little tired too. Now.
He is. I think.
Well, I mean,
I think he's hurt.
Minutes.
Yeah, I think he's hurt.
You know, he's got to. You know, he's got to get 30 plus for him to have a chance to win. That's tough. You know, even at that level, it's tough.
So we had the NBA draft lottery. I watched it for the first time ever. I've never watched the NBA draft lottery. Did I just say that? I'm not gonna lie here on TV.
He was lying.
I couldn't tell you the last time I didn't watch it.
I've never watched it. Is Detroit the unluckiest team? They've had the highest odds of getting number 1 pick the past 2 years. Ended up with the 5th pick each year.
Falling to 5.
What Atlanta Hawks got it with 3%.
Yes.
First time ever the Atlanta Hawks have picked number 1.
Which-
they're gonna screw it up.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
they get the number 1 pick in quite possibly one of the worst drafts ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like,
I mean, Reed Shepard's gonna go top 5.
And
Kid-
Bob Dillingham.
Rob Dillingham's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? But like for 2 kids, no, we're not going back to Cal. Go ahead.
What I think what's going to happen with Reed is that he's showing out in the combine because there's not a lot of competition.
True.
He's going to get drafted really high, and he's probably going to get left in the weeds really quick.
I think he's gonna change to a point guard and be really good.
I hope you're right.
I think I don't know that he's gonna be as good as Chris Paul, but he's got a Chris Paul type game.
Now you know Jeff Shepard pretty decent. I mean, what do you think of Reed's game?
I mean, he's tough. I mean, he's athletic. He shoots it well, high IQ, understands how to play, plays within himself. You know, I think he's going to be a good addition to somebody. I mean, I
You
don't
actually
know if
played
he's-
against him in AAU, right? When you coached or played,
Yeah,
seen him play maybe.
Yeah, we played. Our team played him
I was getting ready to
one
say,
morning. He
listen,
shot lights out.
Coach is he's a young man. I don't know that he played against Reed Shepard in AAU.
Yeah, my team, I helped coach did.
You might need to stop drinking Bath County water.
Speaking of the
Adam, you were right.
the combine, I think one of the silliest things ever is why you measure players without shoes on. How many players are going to ever play without their shoes on?
Never won.
So why does that matter? Why is that why is that something that matters? Well, there's 6'3" with shoes on, 6'1" without. Well, who cares with without?
Right.
I mean, really. I mean, I've always said, who cares?
Well, you know, I guess, and CJ Stroud proved this wrong in the NFL draft. I hate that they give him an IQ test.
Yes,
He scored like a 7 or something on the
Right.
litmus test. What does that even mean?
exactly.
It
You
doesn't
played
mean
football.
it doesn't mean anything because he went out and proved everybody wrong
It's
last
like,
year.
can you play basketball? There's a difference in having a book, school IQ, and a basketball IQ.
100%.
And it's like, who cares if they can't Do their ABCs. It
Right.
makes no difference. Can you play basketball?
And can you win our team games?
Right.
That's what
Doesn't matter.
So I think there's so many things that we put too much emphasis on. And then you got players that come along like Tom Brady, like Jokic, that you can't measure what they bring to the
Right.
game.
Zach Edey, will he be a good NBA player?
Bust.
Oh my gosh! Did you see him running in the combine?
There's the NBA game today is
It's too fast for him.
You don't have big men. Like
And-
Shaq was probably the only big man that could probably still dominate in this type of game.
But I think as fast as they play, I don't even know that Shaq would be as dominant because they would. The
Early
other
year Shaq probably.
early years, Shaq ran like a deer, but dominant Shaq could, because they would run him to death because they just get up and run.
And also, you got your centers now out there playing around the 3-point line.
Yep.
Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid. I mean, they have their low post game, but they're also out there playing around the 3-point
Towns
line.
has competed in the 3-point
Right.
contest the last.
Well,
few
he
years.
won the skills competition 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, are you a horse racing fan, Coach?
I am. Yeah, I am.
Is that your bookie?
No. Well, yes and no. His uncle races horses. He's given me a couple tips a couple times, and one was last year, and I still haven't gotten my money from my winning.
Huh.
So, like my guy here, I tell him what I want to bet,
Huh.
and he bets it, and he tells me we win this amount. So I'm still waiting on my winning.
Well, but and the same guy that makes all these promises,
Yeah,
if you come to
absolutely.
it, to what all these promises,
Oh,
yeah, makes sense.
100%.
Makes sense.
First off, my uncle's horse ran at Keeneland and it won. I was like, hey, man, he's got good odds. I'm going to throw $1 down on it. I do not condone gambling. We do not condone gambling here from Corner to Corner podcast. But I won like $1. And then he's like, hey, why don't you put this for me? I didn't even know what that meant. I said, lady, does this make sense? So we did this. He ended up winning, okay? And by the time you take in consideration gas money, shipping
To a place that you were already at.
shipping and handling.
He called me, tell me.
Shipping and handling, like there's nothing left. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Food. I mean, I don't know what else
You know
want.
what this sounds like? You remember when we did the vinyl siding on your house, and we thought, man, let's go recycle all this
Yep.
aluminum
Aluminum siding.
We spent all day
Loading
long
all this siding up on a trailer. Get there to find out that it's
steel.
steel. They give us like $7.
It was, and
Actually, it ended up being enough for me to buy him lunch and put gas in his truck.
that was it.
That's all the money.
So I mean,
When we worked our tails off that thing.
it was literally like $4.62.
Oh,
And like, that's not even taking
now we're not telling the truth.
Right. Well,
Now we're stretching it.
Yeah.
Now
See,
we're
the thing
definitely
is more
stretching
like $460.
it. Now the conversation.
and Miss Mary is going to say that you reverted back to BC.
Miss Mary Ann.
She's going to say you reverted back to BC.
Hey, best chili sauce.
Hands down.
Have you had it?
Oh, have I had it? Look at the size of me. Of course I've had it.
I
You
just
already
didn't
see
want to bring
who's
notice to
chili
that.
dogs. They're statewide.
Oh, man. Well, who was it? There was a football team or something had an event, the spring game maybe, and on the post it said, Miss Mary's famous chili. So I'm telling you, it is known statewide. So does Mystic Dan have a chance to win?
No.
I don't think so either.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because the Preakness is
2 weeks.
hold on. Is the Preakness the shortest race? The Belmont's the longest. Derby.
I thought the Derby was the shortest.
No, Preakness is the shortest.
Okay, well I'm gonna revert that. I think he has a chance because I think the length was what got him on the Derby, and he won by a nose.
I think his trainer has already come out and said that one time he's running in a 2 week rest, it wasn't good. So I don't think
He's not the favorite.
he was yesterday. I thought
Yeah, he's not the
And
favorite.
there's a horse that didn't run the Derby. That's running the
Bob
Preakness
Badger's
race.
horse
That's supposed
Yeah,
to
Bob Badford is going to try every opportunity he can to beat.
to screw the Derby.
Do they let him back in the Derby?
No.
I mean, you have to.
I mean, you
I
think
don't
it's
think
something
you have to, but I mean, I think he'll be back.
he brings like
He brings a lot.
he brings more to the more viewers.
Flare, a little flash.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
and he's
like,
got great hair.
when you brought me on, you brought more. You got to let me back.
You're stretching now.
Come on, give me something, man. You got a green light over there. Like, who do we lose to? You have them on before me. Give me something here. Right. Sorry.
I worked you out of home and home series. What more you want?
He wants the home game first.
So we've talked about the WNBA a few times here. 36 players drafted in the WNBA draft. Only 13 are still on rosters that made cuts. How can we fix that? Like, what? There's a problem there.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to continue to expand.
Yeah.
I think there's one. Is it Toronto's getting a team, or somebody in Canada's getting a team? I think soon. But I think expansion is the only way to go, because you have, there's still a lot of players that are like Dan Taurasi. I mean, she's been around how many years? I mean, she's so let's take up a spot for a younger player. So there's just run out of spots.
Well, and my question is, and I'm glad you brought that up, is it time that we just start ushering the old heads, the 30-year-olds out, and it's time that we let some of the younger players come into play? Because, I mean, Diana Taurasi, not taking anything from her, great player. She's not going to help the league like these incoming players are going to.
I agree. And, I think Candace Barker saw the writing on the wall, body, tired. And, I think she got a pretty good gig being the president of Adidas women's basketball.
Well, and she did really good in studio during the NCAA tournament.
She's a great commentator. Does a very good job.
And Diana Taurasi is the type of player that could go have the success that Dawn Staley has at South Carolina. She could be a coach.
Could be.
She's got that kind of
absolutely
build.
Going off the rails just a little bit, do you think there's ever a shot that a Dawn Staley could coach a men's basketball team and be successful?
I mean, I'm not going to say no.
It'd be hard.
I just don't know if it'll ever happen.
I thought Becky Hammonds when she was coaching with Pop, and she may still be.
Now she's the coach of the Aces.
Aces, okay. I thought she may be I actually at one time I thought she may be the person that follows Pop. I think it's going to be Tim Duncan now that follows Pop. But
him and his funky looking hair.
She was the first lady that came to mind. And I mean, you take Pat Summitt probably could have, right? But the game's so different now. So could there be? I kind of agree with. Yes, there could be. I'm not sure there will be. I'm not sure that the NBA is the first male sport that gets a female manager or coach.
Right. Becky Hammond might be the one that could do it.
I mean,
she's dominating.
I think she's interviewed a couple of times. I think, right?
Yeah, she won like the G. I mean, I know it's the G League, but still, I mean, you won the G. I mean,
I think
if there's an experiment, she's probably the one to experiment with.
Right.
She's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, you learned under Pop. You're pretty good. Pop's pretty good. I don't know if y'all know that or not.
Yeah.
So Iowa's women's coach retired. Smart move, right?
Good timing.
I mean, they're not ever going to be any better than they were the past 2 years, and you're not going to get another Caitlin Clark.
Top of the mountain, Final Fours, coached the best player ever, and I think her top assistant's been named the head coach, and I think they're pretty close. So, ride off in the sunset, go do some commentary, and
I mean, Robbie Graham make it to the finals, not win, right off in the sunset, let Mark Collier take over, win a state championship, and be okay with that?
No.
Then stay your tail there and go for the championship.
But it's a whole different level, though.
Standard.
And she's been around a lot.
I was going to say, the standard wasn't the standard at Iowa until Caitlin Clark was
really
there.
Great coach.
Well, and then you had what's her name at Stanford that just retired this year too.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there have been some heavy hitters in women's basketball that have talking about heavy. What's it going to take for Tennessee to come back?
I think they have a really good coach that they just hired.
Did they get the girl from Marshall?
Yes.
But I got reservations about that. I mean, what have you done? You won 1 year in a college in a power, not even really Power 5. Marshall, is it?
No, they're Conference USA.
And you just one season. I think it was a big jump, a big risk for them to take on this lady.
It's high risk, high reward situation.
But if it doesn't,
she was the backup plan though, right? Because
Carrie Lawson was top.
Well, Carrie Lawson, and then the fans got upset whenever Carrie Lawson said no. That they waited and they didn't move on Kenny Brooks. They wanted Kenny Brooks.
Yes.
And I think Kentucky hiring Kenny Brooks goes to show you that they're committed to their women's program.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean they have everything there.
Well, and he come out and said he's like, I'm not coming until I know what the NIL program looks like. So, but I mean he was like dropping bombs like right off the bat within the first couple of days. He was like transfer.
I mean, when you bring in the All-American that was at Virginia Tech, like anytime you go anywhere and bring an All-American with you, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's coach. I mean, best luck to her. I don't know anything about her. I just think it's to be the University of Tennessee and to have to take that type of risk. Does it show you that there's more parity in college basketball, or is it that Tennessee's not what it once was?
Right.
Well, argument with UK.
Well, and that gave an opportunity to train these coaches right down the road to go to Marshall. I think that was a great hire. On the other side, you talk about it may have been a reach for the Marshall coach to go to Tennessee. I think Marshall made a great hire getting her. I mean, you just won National Coach of the Year, like
60-some games, 70-some games.
Coach Folks does a good job.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple
That's her
of
name.
times. Yeah, does a good job.
But you're right. In the Hurley, the Dan Hurley to UK thing. I mean, in all honesty, why would he come to Kentucky? He's built a powerhouse with UConn that, like, if he comes to Kentucky, he's got to start over. I mean, kinda, but I mean.
And at what point do you need more money? I know there's a difference between $8 million and $12 million, but still, if you're making $8 million a year and you're happy where you're at and you're at a powerhouse, why risk?
Well, and I mean, he has the opportunity to do something that in this day and time is unprecedented, and win 3 national titles.
And that's got to drive home.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about we've talked a lot about standards, and you hear Kentucky fans like throw around that they're the gold standard, and you're not. I mean, because they, just like UCLA wants to hang their hats on the most national championships. It's like, well, you won all those when the game was George Mikan. Okay. They don't really, they don't count now.
Right.
So if you count from the 90s on, there are 2 gold standards. It's Duke and UConn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gold standard of college basketball.
Agreed.
We probably just got our show canceled. We have Clark County coach on. I just said Duke was the gold standard. Nobody's ever going to listen to us.
Everybody click.
Like this guy's an idiot.
We just jumped way down. We went from 15 to 6.
So it was my fault. Blame me. So we like to talk conspiracy theories on the show. The Northern Lights were this week. Did you all see those?
Yes.
I just saw it on the news.
Well, so I hear that you could only see it a lot of places through your phone.
I got you on that. When I went outside, 10:30, you could see phone magnified all the colors. So I see where you're going with it. Like, oh, that's awesome on your phone. But you could see a tint of like, oh, there's purple, there's orange.
Well, so they're saying with the Northern Lights, the true Northern Lights, I've never seen them. That there's like lines and things in it that you're definite that you can see, and there was none of that here. So
see those.
It's it's kind of, you don't want to say everything's a government conspiracy, but they're kind of
the sky was not lit up like all them photos. I can tell you that right now because I live semi out in the country. We couldn't see nothing.
You didn't see like a reddish maroon tint or orange?
Nada.
It's past my bedtime, so I was in bed. So
well, then you had people like, no, the time to see it is 1:30 in the morning. I'm not getting up at 1:30 to go look at the sky.
No, I Google pictures.
Right. You're going to post enough pictures on Facebook for me to see.
Absolutely.
But to not think it was a conspiracy theory on your phone, it was pretty cool.
I think it's listen, I'm a big conspiracy theory guy. Coach, I don't think we landed on the moon.
I got you.
So, and my number one piece of evidence is, why didn't we go back? If we landed on the moon, why didn't we go back? And Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other guy nobody can ever remember his name, were so happy to go to the moon. They came back, and they looked like the most depressed individuals ever, like they're hiding a secret. I'm telling you, messing with their minds.
I saw something the other day that said, how did the rover fit in? Because it was bigger than the ship that sat on the moon.
And you mean to tell me that in whenever the 60s or whenever it was, they talked to the president in the Oval Office on a landline? Come on. I ain't believing it.
Hey, we did a whole episode on it. We actually did 2 episodes
we
on
did.
Conspiracy theories.
So
it's funny.
all right, guys. Well, that was just a touch of what our Saturday show is. It's a lot more off the rails, and I'm not as PG as I am now. But we have a segment for Missing the Mark. And I'm glad it's called Missing the Mark, because I think our Missing the Mark is Mark Collier not taking Coach Robbie Graham up on his offer. That was a very fair offer.
Quick question, last question, probably getting ready to wrap up. What was your best year of your high school career?
Oh, wow. He just
As a
totally
player?
deflected.
As a player. We got it.
My best year?
Yeah. In high school. Most dominant year.
As far as team-wise,
No, individual.
Well, I mean, it's team first. So my junior year, we made it to the regional
Nobody cares about the
championship
team
game.
right now. I want to know what Robbie Graham's best year was.
My senior year, I averaged about 25, but we didn't have a very good team.
But that was your best.
Mm-hmm.
Senior year, Robbie Graham at Fleming County, versus junior year Mark Collier, Montgomery County, game to 10 by ones. Who wins
Well,
that game?
let's go back a little bit. So I never played freshman or JV. So
I guess that means you did. As a senior, he was playing freshman ball.
No. I may have played freshman. I did play freshman JV, all right. And actually, I think he coached probably against me when I played JV. We beat him, if I can remember that correctly, because, But me and you one-on-one, hypothetically, the LeBron, the Jordan, the GOAT debate, Kobe.
It's not a debate.
I wouldn't waste my time.
He wouldn't even lace up the kicks. The Nikes aren't even getting laced up.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste my time.
You're not dunking on.
He could have beat you with his burning shin splints.
Right.
You're not out undercut. You.
So,
Dunking on.
missing the mark. You have a chance to fix this right now. Do you accept the offer?
Coming to bat next year.
See, wow.
So we're talking about this coming season. So the next year, yes, he'll come to Bath. And the following year,
Why
he'll
is
come
it
to
so important to not for? Because why is it so important this year?
It's more about ego that I can't let him call all the shots.
Okay. So this is
And
the
that's just
one
is what
win
it
that
is.
you want to get is the win of actually this argument.
Yes, basically. And
That's fair.
I've told him you're not 30 piece. It's going to be under 30. And then when I get up by 29, I'll pull the dogs off.
Well, then if you're that confident, go on down the interstate
Absolutely.
It's just,
and do it on the home court.
it's ego.
How big an ego trip can you get beating him on his home court
And by 30, you're saying
in front of his family?
Absolutely.
I love his family too much.
I-
I can't do it.
Oh, so is that what it
At
is?
least if it's in bad,
Well,
it's like, hey.
you've dogged some of them just today. Who? Alexis? Did you not?
Oh yeah, whatever about that. Jordan's my guy though. My nephew. Lex is like a stepsister, man. Jordan's like blood. Leah's blood. Dina, she's coming around. Miss Mary, yeah, that's mine.
So, well, Coach, again, thank you so much for coming on.
All right,
I hope you had a good time.
I did. I really did. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate the invite. I definitely want to come back. And you guys do a great job.
Well, we
really do.
appreciate
You're
that.
Very knowledgeable about a lot of subject areas, and you do a good job.
Well,
I
thank you.
appreciate
And next time you come back, if you want to bring players with you, please, by all means, feel free to bring players with you. I know that playing at the levels that your guys get to, sometimes they do get a chance to sit in front of microphones, but not every kid gets that opportunity.
I would love to do that, and I'm going to bring a jersey, but you got to promise me you won't let anybody rip it down.
I promise you,
Snatch it, throw
it will be
throw
just
throw it
fine.
in
No.
the fireplace, anything.
No. If they're going to throw it in the fireplace, they're going to throw me with it. I promise you.
But it's fun. I mean, obviously, rivals are part of sports, and once we step away from the court,
Well, I tell you what, I let it be known all the time. Clark County employee, they sign my paycheck
absolutely.
in my front yard, just right up the road here. Hometown proud, Clark County Schools.
There you go.
So, just saying.
And we did commit to sponsoring the football.
We haven't made it official yet, but we are going to be a whole sponsor or sign sponsor or whatever for the golf scramble for the football team.
Now, if you scout, you got to sponsor one for the girls now.
Well, we 100%
in the
will.
fall.
We 100% will.
Fall, so.
We're actually thinking about doing a golf scramble of our own.
I don't play, but I'll show up.
Yeah. So
I don't play.
Well, everybody come. Robbie Graham showing up.
No, I'm saying I'll
Me, man.
support my guys. These are my guys now.
Right.
Now these are my guys now. So, I'm about to X him off the
Oh,
list.
hold on. It just sold out.
See why we don't like him?
No, who does?
Nobody.
Like I know Miss Mary, Miss Collier. Sometimes she's like, yeah, oh my god. So I've heard stories.
Yeah.
Even mom and dad.
And they're all true.
Yeah, I know.
So I go over to Ashton's signing a couple of weeks ago when she signed to play with the Eagles. Okay. What are you looking at?
What are you making kissy faces for? I look over and she's going,
It's the first time that I got to meet his wife.
Mhm.
And I said, I'm Sean. I'm with the podcast. She goes, oh, you're the sub 500 guy.
That's Smith Ron just throwing jab. Everybody knows it. I'm just like, yeah, best season since '92, Sean. Yeah.
It was not intentional. I didn't even know what I had said.
Right.
Then wears green to the Round County game. Sits on the Round County side.
I did not wear green. I was wearing this shirt. This is not green.
they bicker like a married couple.
I could tell. They do. They do.
And I meant to say something to Richie when he was on here. The only reason that we sat on the other side is because the only place that has handicap seating is on the visitor side. My son's in a wheelchair, so we had to sit over there. But I was right across from the bench from him the entire game.
Actually, close up to where y'all sit over. Yeah.
So
It was awful sitting in that section with Fleming County and
easy.
No. There ain't no love loss, is there?
no.
GRC all the way.
I know you are, but you said that's where your family is. You don't want people badmouth your family.
That's right.
So,
Well, guys, we appreciate you coming on for sure. Guys, there you have it. If this is the first time that you've watched because we had Coach on tonight, make sure that you like and follow our page. We are supporting Clark County, Bath County, Menifee County, Montgomery County. We've had Nicholas County on. We've had
Madison Southern,
on.
Belfry.
Yeah, so we're expanding our areas all the time, and go back and check out some of our other stuff. We've had a lot of cool guests on here and stuff. Every Thursday, every Saturday, this drops in podcast form as well. So if you want to check it out just audio wise, you can do that. It's also on YouTube. So with that being said, catch you next week.
Stay safe, friends.